Welcome to Law You Should Know. The law affects every aspect of our lives, our home, our jobs, and our recreational activities. Now you can learn about the law and how to protect yourself against the loss of your liberty or property. Learn how to stand up for your rights and seek compensation when you have been wronged. Your host for Law You Should Know is attorney Kenneth J. Landau with the Mineola law firm of Shane, Dox, Denisi, and Corker. He's a member of the Committee on Professional Ethics of the Bar Association of Nassau County and counsel to the Nassau Academy of Law. And now, here is your host for Law You Should Know, attorney Kenneth J. Landau.
Hi, this is Ken Landau, and welcome to Law You Should Know. Today we'll be talking about the University of Buffalo Law School, which is part of the SUNY system here in New York. And our guest is Lindsay Gladney, and she is the Vice Dean for Admissions. Lindsay, welcome to Law You Should Know.
Oh, thank you so much for having me.
And this is good for anyone to know who's thinking of law school, because these are the same things you'd want to find out about any law schools you're considering. And Lindsay, just tell us for a moment, tell us about the background of and what's your official name?
University at Buffalo School of Law.
Okay. And so just tell us a little bit about the origins and of the law school and where it's come since then.
Oh, sure. So the law school was founded back in 1887, so we're actually in our 132nd year, and a lot of people don't realize that, but we are the only law school in the State University of New York system. So for that reason, as you might guess, our tuition is quite affordable, not only for in-state residents, but also non-residents. So currently, our in-state tuition is $25,410 per year for New York State residents, and the added expense for non-residents is about $4,000. So they pay $29,500 per year. So we draw students from the region, but also from surrounding states, out of state, and even from our neighbors to the north in Ontario.
So, and it's a very good bargain for in-state students who want to keep their tuition costs down, but it's also a bargain for out-of-state students.
Absolutely, and in addition to our low tuition, we also offer merit scholarships to over 80% of our incoming students. That has been true for our last two admission cycles, and our merit scholarships range from $2,500 per year all the way up to full tuition scholarship, with an average award around $9,500 per year for those who do receive scholarships. So it really is a bargain, and finally, as you know, Western New York offers a really low cost of living, well below the national average. Forbes recently ranked Buffalo as the third most affordable city in America.
And you do allow law students to live on campus near the school, or there's plenty of other places they can live in this? And the school's actually in the suburbs of Buffalo.
Correct. So we're located in Amherst, which is regularly ranked one of the safest cities in America. It's about 15 to 20 minutes from downtown Buffalo. And yes, we do have on-campus housing for graduate and professional students. We even have a designated area for law students.
And what are some of the new programs that you're offering at the law school?
Sure. So we, in addition to having 8 different concentrations, including criminal law, cross-border legal studies, environmental law, we recently introduced our newest concentration in sports law, which, of course, prepares students to handle the wide range of legal matters in the expanding sports law industry. In addition to that, we've recently expanded our clinical course offerings. So this past January, for example, students in our new U.S.-Mexico border clinic, they completed a 2-week intensive course here in O'Brien Hall studying refugee and asylum law, and then they traveled down to Dilley, Texas, where they represented asylum seekers. They helped them prepare for their credible fear interviews at the South Texas Family Detention Center. So that's one of our newer clinics. We're also very proud of our Veterans Legal Practicum course, which is fairly new as well. The students enrolled in that course, they perform service learning to help address the needs of our country's veterans. So they work with New York State's Justice for Heroes program. They provided a grant to the UB School of Law to help create the Veteran Legal Assistance Practicum. And so this course builds on past success of other veterans' work in the law school.
And tell us, whether your graduates, what kind of jobs and fields do they go on to after the graduation?
So there's quite a variety. I would say 2/3 of our graduates end up in private practice, but they are placed at firms of all different sizes. So we have graduates who end up at quite small law firms all the way up to your corporate law, big law firms, down in New York City and other large metro areas. And then we also have quite an interest from our students in public interest work and social justice initiatives. So we see a lot of students placed in public interest positions as well as government positions as well.
And as you said, many of your students and graduates are from the New York and downstate area, and many, because of those things you mentioned, also work elsewhere in the Northeast and in places like Washington, D.C., and around the country and around the world.
That's correct. So behind Buffalo Western New York, our second largest alumni chapter is in New York City, followed by D.C. We also have a semester-long program in New York City. It's a finance and law program for students who are interested in corporate practice and finance. It takes place every fall semester, and students live and study in New York City for a full semester. They're also placed in a externship during that semester. The only added expense, of course, would be the cost of living for that semester.
And as you said, Buffalo, is a city on the upswing, and also it's very close to Niagara Falls and not far from Toronto and other Midwestern cities.
Right. And I think those not from the area, especially prospects not from New York State, like to think of us as Northeast, but we're almost more on the Midwest. We are located on an international border, so Toronto, as you stated, it's a 2-hour drive to downtown Toronto. And we are the second largest city in New York State. We are often overshadowed by New York City, but we have quite a large, engaging legal community here as well. And it is, the city has been experienced a renaissance over the last, I would say, 7 to 8 years. So there's a lot going on here. It's an exciting time to be in Buffalo.
And your school though the city is next door, you're physically situated in a new affluent suburb.
That's correct. So we are the first building, I think, built on North Campus back in the 70s. Now the North Campus is quite bustling. It's oftentimes referred to as UB's main campus. So our students have the luxury of having access to all the university resources here on campus, but then also having a monopoly on all of the legal opportunities in downtown Buffalo, being that we are the only law school in Buffalo. And there is, believe it or not, we do have a pretty robust public transportation system. So we have transportation between Buffalo's North Campus, which is in a suburb, and the South Campus, which is actually in the city of Buffalo. And then our South Campus links to downtown Buffalo via a subway line. So we have one subway line. It runs under Main Street. A lot of people not from the area don't realize that, but it is very possible to get around without a car.
Right. Someone doesn't need a car to be there. You have dorms. You have your own university bus system, and there's plenty of mass transit.
Exactly.
Around. And there's also, many airlines go from New York and other major cities to Buffalo, as well as Amtrak and other mass transit.
That's true. So we do attract, year after year, we bring in a lot of students from downstate who are really accustomed to relying on public transportation down in New York, and I think Buffalo does a pretty good job of offering that as well. What
are some of the other clinical programs you have?
So we offer the Puerto Rico Recovery Assistance Clinic. We have a community economic clinic as well. One of our newest clinics that I did not touch on earlier is the Entrepreneurship Law Center Clinic that will run for the first time this fall. And students in that clinic will provide legal services to entrepreneurs and startups who are not quite ready or able to engage outside legal counsel. So they're going to work with diverse companies really in the Buffalo, Western New York area who are confronting a variety of business challenges specific to startups and early stage high growth ventures. So we're very excited for that. The clinic is going to focus primarily on 4 objectives, which would be experiential learning, excellence in service, accelerating women-owned businesses, and economic development here in Western New York.
In terms of extracurricular activities at the law school, there are many others at the university, of course, and university, sports teams. But the law school itself has various law journals.
Yes, we have currently 6 different student-run law journals, with, I would say, the Buffalo Law Review having the longest history, maybe being the most prestigious. So students do compete to get on the Buffalo Law Review at the end of their first year. The other law journals are interest-specific, so we have the Environmental Law Journal is one of them. They have different ways to get on those that maybe aren't as quite competitive, but they're based on interest areas. Outside of the law journals, we have, a number of different moot court teams and mock trial teams that compete at all different stages as well, regionally, within the state, and even nationally and internationally. So there are a lot of opportunities to get involved, outside of academics.
And also to bolster your credentials and get some interesting experience.
Absolutely. So law journals and taking any leadership position either through our trial advocacy program or even through one of our student organizations that fall under the Student Bar Association are really great resume builders. Those are, discussion points during interviews that are very important, of course, throughout the law school experience. So strongly encourage students to do that. Of course, during the first year, we definitely want them to focus on academics, but then we encourage that they take on some roles in our student organizations after successful completion of the first year. And
you'll also help them to try to find some type of job, in the Buffalo area or in other, major cities in New York or wherever they want to work?
Really, our Career Services Office, what they do each fall is they require first-year law students to meet with them during the first semester. They do an intake, so they get an idea of what the student's interested in, where they might see themselves during the summer after the first year, and also where they may see themselves post-graduation. And then they really work with the student, really depending on their interests. Given our location, we do place a lot of students in Buffalo and upstate New York. We also, because we pull students from the New York City area, we tend to place students there as well. But like I said, our career services, they really want to meet the student where they are, listen to their interests, and help them, provide them the resources to get them where they want to go, whether that be Buffalo, New York, or out of state. Okay,
we're going to take a short break. When we return, We'll talk more about the admissions process, other electives available at the University at Buffalo Law School, and we're talking with Lindsay Gladney, and she's the Vice Dean for Admissions at the law school. You're listening on 90.3 WHPC, the voice of Nassau Community College, and also over the Internet at nccradio.org. We'll be back in a minute.
This program is brought to you by Nassau Community College, which offers a paralegal studies program. Students can major in paralegal studies while earning their associate's degree, or earn a paralegal certificate if they already have a college degree. These programs can even help you start a second career as a paralegal. It's a program for anyone who wants to work in a law office assisting lawyers, the government, or a position in an insurance company. More information about full-time, part-time, days, evenings, weekends, or online courses is available by calling 516-572-7774 or by email at paralegal@ncc.edu.
Once again, we continue with Law You Should Know. From the Mineola Law Firm of Shane, Dox, Denise, Corker, and Sauer, here is attorney Kenneth J. Landau.
Hi, this is Ken Landau, and welcome back to Law You Should Know. This is one of our continuing series profiling various law schools in New York State, and we're talking about the University at Buffalo School of Law, which is the only SUNY Law School in New York State, and we're talking with Lindsay Gladney, and she is the Vice Dean of Admissions for the law school. And Lindsay, just take a few minutes and just tell us about the admissions process and what does the law school look for in admitting law students, especially non-traditional criteria?
Sure. So we take a holistic approach to reviewing our applications. Of course, there are some numerical factors that we take into consideration, the LSAT and the GPA. This year, in December, actually, of 2018, we announced that we would also begin accepting the GRE. So we began accepting the GRE for fall 2019 admission as well. So now students can opt to submit either the LSAT or the GRE. So those are the numerical factors, the standardized tests and the undergraduate GPA. In addition, we will consider any graduate coursework or graduate degrees earned. And then non-numerical factors include any law-related internship or professional work experience, leadership positions held at the undergraduate level. We look very closely at the personal statement, so we look for sincere interest in the study and the practice of law. We look closely at recommendation letters. And then we're also looking at the applicant's writing abilities. So when we're reviewing applications, we're looking to make sure that the student would be successful in the first year curriculum if offered admission, that they would, be successful finding employment post-graduation, then we want to have confidence that they would do well in the bar exam as well.
And let's assume they get into the school and they get through their first year. What are some of the elective courses available to them to help them sort of major in something while they're in law school or concentrate in an area of the law or one or more areas of the law? Sure.
So we have dozens and dozens of elective courses. So I'm not going to give too many examples, but the concentrations we offer, I think I mentioned earlier, criminal law, environmental law, finance and development, family law, intellectual property, international law, and sports law. One of the nice things about our relationship with our very loyal alumni is that many of them give back to teach some of our elective courses. We host something called the January Bridge Term, which is available to second and third year students. They can come take courses during the month of January. They're short-term courses, usually 1 or 2 credits each, and they're typically taught by adjunct faculty who are practitioners in the legal community here in Western New York. The nice thing about those courses is that they are applied to their spring credit course load, so they are not being charged separately for any courses taken during the January Bridge Term. One example I can think of is a practitioner who might also be very involved with our trial team, would teach a 1-credit course on cross-examining a witness. But this is where we really are able to tap into the talents of our alumni in the area.
And are there some unusual electives as well that you've recently added to the curriculum?
There are a number of different electives. I don't have the course listing in front of me, but they're all accessible to the public online if you visit our website. At the end of the show, I will provide contact information, so anyone listening who might be interested in the University at Buffalo School of Law could certainly reach out to me, and I could link them to that information.
And generally, college students and others, some people have taken a break, worked in another career, and now they're ready to go to law school. And, of course, they may apply to several law schools. And you are a lower cost school, you're a convenient school, so it's good if people consider Buffalo in the mix of schools they're applying to.
Absolutely, and I meant to mention when we were discussing the admissions criteria that we this past fall, in fall 2018, we enrolled about 150 students. They came from 50 different undergraduate majors. The average age of a first-year student is typically 25 or 26, but 32% of our first-year cohort last summer were above the age of 30. So we do have quite a mix: career changers, people who decide that they want an advanced degree later in their career.
And if someone's not sure if they would qualify, or they want to sit in on a class or just experience the school and the environment, are they welcome to come visit and tour the school?
Absolutely. So we host 3 open houses per year, usually 2 in the fall and 1 in February. We also have an online individual visit request form where they can select to sit in on a first-year law lecture, take a tour with a current law student, and meet with an admissions representative. As long as we have classes in session and it's not during final exams, we allow them and welcome them to sit in on law lectures. We also recruit in the fall out of town, and once we have our fall recruitment calendar confirmed, we will share that online as well to say where we'll be in the area, in the New York City area. They're from there.
And someone has a unique admission situation, maybe English isn't their first language, or they just don't do so well on tests. Can they meet with you to explain their situation?
Absolutely. Not only could they meet with me, they can also submit an addendum to their application explaining any areas of concern, and we would encourage that. But we'd be happy to meet with them to inform them how to appropriately do that and approach that process.
Now, you also have master's law programs. Tell us about those.
We do. We offer, I think, currently 8 different dual degree programs. Oh, and we have, I think you mean master's in law. So I meant master's in law, and then I was going to come to dual degree programs. Okay. Go ahead. Sure. So in addition to our general LLM, which is really designed for foreign-trained attorneys who hold an LLB from their home country and want to gain admission to a bar in the U.S., we have a general LLM program for them. We also have a criminal law LLM program, a cross-border legal studies LLM program, and an environmental law LLM program. And I may have mentioned this earlier, our advanced standing 2-year JD is also very attractive to foreign-trained attorneys. And then given our location on a comprehensive campus, so the University of Buffalo is home to almost 30,000 students. The law school, of course, is quite small. We're home to about 450 students. But because of our affiliation with the university, we're able to offer a number of different dual degree programs. Our most popular one over the years has been our JD MBA, which is 4 years of study. We also offer dual degrees with the School of Social Work, with the School of Architecture and Planning. We have a JD Master's in Urban Planning. We have a number of JD PhD programs as well.
What else would you like to say to someone who's thinking about Buffalo, or perhaps not thinking about Buffalo, on why Buffalo might be the perfect fit for their legal education?
Well, I think that our community is extremely supportive. So we have a deep level of commitment to students and their education, which I think is shared by every member of the School of Law and our legal community. So that spans our faculty, staff, alumni, even our current students. That's just kind of the vibe here, not only at the law school, but in Buffalo. Students and faculty, they really go out of their way to help each other, to teach and inspire students. And the endless opportunities we have, whether it be through our clinical courses or our externship placements. We have a mentor program that is run by our Career Services Office as well as the Law Alumni Association. And every winter, the School of Law collaborates with the Law Alumni Association to coordinate an annual matching reception. So they host a mentor matching reception. It just goes to show how much our alumni want to give back to our students. And I think the students who come here, even from out of town, out of state, really feel that they're welcome. Many of our students who come from out of the area end up staying in Buffalo. It's really a good time to be in the city of Buffalo.
And one of the big pluses of the school is it is more affordable than many other law schools, and many law students are concerned about law student debt, especially if they already have student debt.
That's right. So there's definitely the cost benefit. In addition to the cost being low, we also here at the School of Law, we have our own registrar and financial aid office. We have a financial aid coordinator that's here in O'Brien Hall just to serve law students. So that's a bonus as well. Students will not need to navigate the long lines that they might see elsewhere on campus because we are a large campus with a lot of students. So we really are able to provide that individualized attention, especially when they have very important questions regarding cost and student loan debt.
And depending on what the setting the law student goes on to after law school, there are some ways to mitigate or reduce or even gradually eliminate law school debt.
That's true. There are some loan repayment programs if they are practicing in certain sectors that would cover their debt. I don't have the exact details in front of me, but again, if anyone were to reach out, it could provide additional information about those repayment options or forgiveness options.
We just have a moment or two left. Just give us your contact information. If someone just wants to find out more about the school, want to arrange for a visit, or just get some more information on courses or faculty or opportunities. Absolutely.
So the Office of Admissions can be reached at 716-645-2907. We also have an email address that's law-admissions@buffalo.edu. They can ask to speak with me directly. My name is Lindsay Gladney. I'd be happy to schedule a phone appointment if they're unable to travel here or meet them in person in my office. One other thing I wanted to leave with is that the law school has some very exciting news to share. So this August, U.S. Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg is set to visit Buffalo, in addition to being presented with an honorary doctoral degree in law by the SUNY Chancellor. Justice Ginsburg will spend part of her time teaching students here at the law school. So we are very excited about this. You can learn more on our website at law.buffalo.edu. And I strongly encourage anyone listening to also follow us on social media. So look for us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
And as you said, Buffalo is a major U.S. city and the second largest city in New York State. Just give us your contact information one more time.
Sure. So
and your website.
The phone number for the Office of Admissions is 716-645-2907. And our email address is law-admissions, so admissions with an S at the end, at buffalo.edu. Our website is law.buffalo.edu.
And this is Ken Landau. I would just like to remind our listeners that we will have profiles of other law schools in the future. And as you've heard, you have nothing to lose by finding out more about University of Buffalo Law School. It may be the right and the most affordable school for you. And you've heard how to get information about it. If you missed any part of this program or you want to tell someone else about it, the podcast of this or other programs that are part of Law You Should Know are available at nccradio.org. You were listening to 90.3 WHPC, the voice of Nassau Community College, and also over the internet, nccradio.org. Please join us at this same time next week for another program on Law You Should Know.